Hello, Facebook. How was everybody this morning?
Hey, hey.
Danny's on. Danny, how's my table coming along?
He's making you a table?
He is. I'm very stoked about this. Guys, it is Gather the Nerds, episode 115. I'm Cav, that's Nick.
What's up?
Church is off hunting aliens with Jose Canseco. More on that later. And Hannah's here.
Hello.
So, we are here to talk about more nerd stuff after a week off. Travel and all that other stuff tends to get in the way. Uh-oh. Who is it? Is it me?
It's you.
Oh, it's me. I have failed as a host and a human.
You're fired.
Yep. Danny says what's great. I was telling them about the table that you were working on. So he is. Oh, he said, "Oh, it's great." He's building a table for my new center channel for the theater. I'm very stoked about it because I think it's going to weigh more than the center channel itself.
What is it made of? Is it made of rich mahogany?
It smells of rich mahogany, even though it's made of pine. I don't know how he did it.
I just texted him. I said, "You're building a freaking table?"
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Because he and I were just talking about it sitting at my table, and I was like,
Yeah.
I need to build a new table. This one's too big. We need to get rid of this one.
Well, I say it's a table. It's like a. Well, so it should be on camera. It's like that.
Still.
Yeah. It's
cool.
He's been sending me progress pictures. I'm just like, I'm fairly certain that is going to be the thing that puts too much weight on this floor of the house, and it just isn't going to come through like the floor.
Well,
so
could be a water heater. I mean, that could
that's
be worse.
true.
Happened to my neighbors.
That's happened to a friend of mine too. Water thing started leaking from upstairs, and then.
Yeah, I specifically we looked at a house, 2-story house in Broken Arrow when we were trying to buy our house, and the water heater was upstairs, or the water tank was upstairs.
Yeah.
And I asked the realtor, I was like, "So what happens if it leaks?" She goes, "Well, it would just it would ruin the floor or whatever." And I was like, "But at some point, that sheetrock and all that, it's gonna rot and it's gonna fall." I mean, granted, a floor is wood, but still, I'm like,
Wood rots.
I'm like, I don't know. You put enough weight and enough water, it's gonna bend and break. So
Yeah.
she goes, "Well, it shouldn't fall through the ceiling." I'm like, "Well, okay, I think I'm going to pass on this house."
Yeah.
Sorry.
It shouldn't fall.
It shouldn't, but with my luck, it probably will.
Yeah.
Right on me.
All right, we've got some Marvel, DC, a little TV movie stuff, a lot of gaming, some tech, some science, something I don't know why we're calling it science. We've got some PSA. Brian, I don't know who this Amanda is you're talking about. There's no Amanda here.
Hannah only.
Hannah only.
He refuses Hannah.
But I've also been instructed to ask you, because we talked about this earlier, to ask you about pockets.
Pockets. Yes. Conspiracy, guys. And
Man, that went from like 0 to 100 quick.
All right, let's talk about the
Okay,
pocket
let
conspiracy.
me
Into the
tell you
mic.
The history of pockets. It's like a drunk history. I mean, I'm sober, but it's like probably going to sound like
A caffeinated
episode.
history?
Yeah. Okay, so women can't have pockets because then we can't carry things. This is like not now, but like a long time ago.
But I think it is accurate because women pants.
Right.
what-
Well, I mean,
they
we
don't.
can't.
Yeah.
But like it started as they didn't want us to be able to carry anything because they didn't want us to be able to have money so that we could go off and do our own things or to leave, heaven forbid. So they can keep better track of us, they can keep us down, and then it just turned into what it is now, where they just, I guess, don't think that we need pockets. And it makes me very mad.
Clearly.
Because we need pockets. And then it's always like, how come I have to carry all your stuff? I'm like, I don't have pockets. Go talk to the jean industry and have them make me pockets, and you won't have to carry it. I know what you're saying. Man, why don't you have a purse? I do, but I leave it places, so I don't carry it unless I absolutely have to. And why would I carry it when I can use Lynn's pockets?
His pockets are your purse.
Because he can't leave his pockets places.
So you could carry a backpack.
I could.
Like
I
a
don't
sling.
have that much stuff.
Okay, then you can get one of those
I do have
North
a purse.
Face fanny pack things that people wear as sling packs. You
No.
can do that.
That's lame.
You can get Supreme. You can be like a hype beast. Walk around with your $400 fanny pack because it says a word on it.
Behind me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or drape it across your shoulders.
But there is like a GoFundMe or one of those type of sites with jeans that have long pockets, but they look like regular jeans. And it's already like made 150 or something % funded within like the first day. So it's not just me.
Well, so here's the thing. Even though you're talking about how it oppressed women originally, I will say one of my main issues with jeans is pockets. And when I buy them,
the fact that they have them?
No, the fact that the fact that you can buy 2 pair of the exact same type of jean, and somebody sewed it 3.5 inches shorter. Does that make sense? So like you might have a short pocket or a normal pocket. You know what I mean?
It's bad quality control.
And it's Levi's, man. I mean, it's happened to me more than once where I put a jean on. I'm like, man, these fit great, and I go to put my hand in my pocket. And I'm like, okay, I can get my fingers in my pocket. No, this isn't gonna work. So then I have to go find another one that it's just. I will say that is a thing.
I did
and I get it.
read like the history of it. I just can't remember all of it. That's why I'm like, I sound like a crazy person because when I read it, it made complete sense, but it's a long time ago. So I cannot recap it.
Yeah.
No.
Was it after consuming beverages?
No.
Okay.
Lynn, there's a snippet I need you to pull out of that, which was, I read it, I know I sound like a crazy person, but I read it late at night. Something along those lines. I feel like there's an intro right there.
I'm not good at recapping things.
So.
Correctly.
We don't need facts.
No.
Just conjecture.
See the emotion behind it.
Exactly.
Just no.
All right, so Marvel, DC, movie or TV movies, gaming, tech, science, or a public service announcement. J. David Parrish says hello.
Hello. That's my middle name.
Let's go with our PSA. Why not?
I mean, my maiden name.
Don't give many PSAs. Let's do a PSA.
All right, millennials, you are dumb. There's your PSA. I say millennials. Sorry. Teenagers of the. I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, because I'm old and get off my lawn. But apparently there's this.
Do you sit on your porch and drink sweet tea?
Just get off my lawn.
Out of a decanter.
Out of a decanter with my shotgun.
If the basketball or the frisbee gets in your yard, you take it.
Exactly. Sometimes, yeah. Brian Kerr does. He is commenting on the pocket. Says women have small pockets because of bears. Don't know why.
Bears are men, like bears.
So, all right, here we go. 48-hour challenge. There is now a new challenge out there with teenagers that basically said, go missing for 48 hours and see how much coverage you can get on social media.
Well, when you look at how kids behave in response to mass violence these days, it doesn't shock me that that's a thing.
Yeah. This is, I mean...
And chances are somebody making a joke about doing it instead of actually doing it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of these... there's a lot of tweets, and we don't have any visuals for this week. I kind of ran out of time today, but some of these tweets, this is from Youngblood Joe. Teens are going missing on purpose, scaring their families and wasting police resources. Why? Because teens are stupid and bored and their friends dared them to.
Yeah, so, like the more likes or more shares, there's like a point system to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Ultimately, here's the thing. If you're doing this out of a challenge, you're putting someone else's life at risk on top of your own. And I know that it's hard to think about yourselves and others, but you got to.
One or the other.
Well, one person, I think the kid that did it, that I saw the story about, she hid under her bed with like shoes covering her so they couldn't see her. So she never even left the house. She was just under her bed for 2 days. Which is not better. I mean, I think that's stupid too, but I was like, oh my goodness.
She's not to pee? I mean,
I was gonna say, yeah. There's some biological things you'd have to deal with, but I mean, these are also the same. This is also the same, kids or whatever that were doing the Tide Pod challenge.
Tide Pod, the cinnamon.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We bag on young people, and I'm sure
do.
we were bagged on quite a bit whenever we were kids. I know I was treated poorly at most restaurants, so I get it. But some of these social media challenges are they're dangerous. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
It's you hit it on the head. It's the social media portion of it that makes these things things spread. I mean,
well, we have all these kids that are chasing viral videos all the time. That's part of that's part of the reason why nowadays when you see police interacting with people, I get that there's a point that people feel like they need to record to protect themselves. I get that. But there's a reason why bystanders are now doing it. There's a reason why when fights break out, bystanders are recording instead of trying to trying to prevent people from getting hurt, which is dangerous if they're fighting, obviously, but recording it instead of going and getting help. I mean, that's where we're at, and it's because we're looking for that viral video to make us famous. I mean, and then even then, it's like, are you really famous? I mean,
yeah, for about 5 minutes until the next person,
especially nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Barry joined. Hey, Barry, what's going on, man?
I don't know. It just seems very dangerous, and it honestly seems to me. I don't understand why you would think that would be a good idea. I mean, in your house under your bed, at least makes a little bit more sense to go hiding, because it's a safe space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's still a really bad idea, but I can understand, like, you go hide in the ceiling for 48 hours or whatever.
So let's say you go to a friend's house or something like that, and they know this is what you're doing, and they're doing this and they're helping you on purpose. Are they then culpable legally?
I would imagine. I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
I just picture the Batman Robin meme, where he slaps Robin, because that's what I would do. Like, snap out of it. This is silly.
I would be more the fear of my parents after they found out it was a joke versus wanting everything from social media. Like,
I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain I'd rather be arrested than face my parents if I did something like that.
Well, and now so much of what social media and all of that stuff does, it pumps that dopamine into their brain, so it seems like it's a good idea.
Yeah, that instant
and I just can't.
gratification.
I cannot get there because I didn't grow up in that era where I needed people's interaction to feel valid.
Yeah.
So ours was different because ours had to be in person.
Well, and ours was over dial-up, and that really just slowed everything down. So I don't know. It scares me because having a little kid, I'm like, oh my goodness, you're not having social media until you're 25. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Well, I mean, you look at something, the things that they cannot live without right now. Avi, you mentioned their cell phone because it's basically a dopamine, right into it. Yep. But that's to the point that, Apple or somebody is going to have, and I know they have some of these things where, like, they can't turn off location services on their phone and stuff like that. Because here's the deal. If they are doing something like that, they can't be without their phone. Right. Location services on your phone. I'll tell you right where they are.
There's an app, Life 360.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know, Joni uses it. I wasn't invited, so apparently my in-laws don't want to know where I am. But somebody sets up an account, and you basically invite your family.
Okay.
And my understanding, at least, is that whoever creates the account is who controls all the on and off stuff. So, like, you get mile per hour, you get location, you get time on the phone, you get battery usage. Like,
that's a teen driver's nightmare.
If you have like multiple kids and they're like, "Give me the cord, my phone's almost dead," you can pull it up and be like, "It's at 80%. Quit fighting over that." Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. I've learned a little bit more about it as the week has gone on, but
there's the Nissan app, so you can remote start from your phone and stuff. You can set it up for like parental control type, so it'll track the car for like your curfew, and if you don't go like a certain radius, and it tracks a whole bunch of stuff too.
Yeah.
I know that you can do the key fobs where if you use a specific key fob in a particular type of car, basically it's a teen driver mode where basically they can't go, and you said they can't go faster than 55.
Yeah,
they
cuts
can't,
the power.
They can't have the radio over a certain whatever, like all these things.
Yeah. I could have used that as a kid, learning to drive.
Oh, well, the radio thing would have been out. I had a sound system in mine. I mean, there was no...
I'll put a boombox in the back seat if I have to.
Yeah, there you go. Boombox.
The volume wouldn't have.
I'd love to have one.
Trying to like switch out the CDs while driving or changing gear. It was not.
Yeah, see, I had a standard, not the same issues, just like always try to have a passenger and say, okay, get this CD out and put it in there. Like,
do this.
Yeah.
You're my DJ.
Yeah, exactly. So.
All right, so kids, don't be dumb. Don't go and disappear for 48 hours.
Or at least do it old school and just tell your parents you're running away.
Yeah, well, I've been looking at our analytics quite a bit lately on Instagram and Facebook, and it seems like our median age is kind of in our age group. Yep. So, if you have young, impressionable people around you, try to impress your wisdom upon them. I realize that as young people, wisdom doesn't always mean knowledge, and knowledge doesn't always mean wisdom, and experience doesn't mean wisdom either sometimes. But please, for everything that's good, please try to educate these young people in common sense.
Yeah.
Because they grow up in a way that is so different from anybody else. And they need more of it. They need more common sense.
There's more outside influencers in this generation than there was in ours by a significant
Well, and
margin.
it's so
So we just had like our
fast.
school basically, and
and
they had like the whole world.
It's just so fast.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like, when you look at it from, like, a bullying perspective, I mean, they can't get away from it.
Yeah.
We just hung up the phone.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, worse, we might have unplugged the phone. You know, it just wasn't a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm glad I'm not in that generation, but I'm raising a kid in it, and it scares me.
Yeah. Well, someone who's actually showing common sense is Disney for once. So Disney has confirmed that Deadpool will remain a rated R property for Disney, even despite the success of Once Upon a Deadpool. That it will remain a R-rated property, and there might be some more room for that. So, so they really don't want to confuse the consumer on that. But you also get, with the Black Widow movie essentially being rated R, or at least allegedly being rated R. So that is certainly going to be there. So it looks like the next thing we'll see with Deadpool is going to be X-Force and Deadpool 3. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. In other Disney news, and I'm not sure how I feel about this, they have confirmed that they are looking to replace Hugh Jackman officially as Wolverine and replace him with someone a little bit younger.
I saw this, but I wasn't sure. I didn't have time to read it when I saw it, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, they were talking about just the pure physicality of the role and what it takes to be like.
Yeah.
He said, speaking of Hugh Jackman, basically said the man works so hard to bulk up. You get up at 4 a.m. just to bulk and eat protein meals every 2 hours because his natural state. They used to call him Worm when he was a kid because his natural state is a very skinny guy. You see him like
you see him walking around with Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds, and I mean he's
even like
very
Greatest Showman
slender.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's his
normal build.
Yeah, and he said he won't. Basically says the body just won't do that anymore. They did say though, he said I'm at that point I can't do it. Now that doesn't mean that he can't come back as an older Wolverine.
Like an old man Logan.
Like an old man Logan.
Yeah.
So.
But even the character of old man, in Logan he was big.
Yeah, he wasn't as big as previous,
Probably
but he was
not,
still.
but he was big.
Yeah.
Because if he can't heal
Yeah.
during that one,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So maybe that works.
Yeah.
That might work.
So you bring in a younger someone to play Wolverine. Who?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. I'm not sure Matt Damon is younger than Hugh Jackman.
I'm just we throw his name out every time we're talking about who's going to play somebody.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, there you go.
So speaking of Wolverine, I finished the Wolverine Long Night, the Marvel Stitcher podcast. Man,
Is it good?
It is good. Like it is.
And it's just a red story, right?
It is just a story, yeah. But it's not just a red story. Like there's sound effects and ambient effects and stuff like that. So like if they're out, on a boat or something like that, like you hear water, you hear stuff like that. Yeah. It's with Marvel and Stitcher, and so it's done really well. It's 10 episodes. Episodes average about half an hour.
Not bad.
So it was a pretty easy run through, but it's really good, and they're going to continue to do more. At least that's what the story is. So Marvel could now, because they don't already own the movie universe, they could conceivably go into this podcast universe and build this whole story. So Richard Armitage, who played help me, he was in
The Vicar of Dibley.
That was not where I was going. I was going with The Hobbit.
Yes, he was in The Hobbit. He was also in, I think, one of the Robin Hood, the BBC series. And he also voices one of the characters in Castlevania.
Okay.
I'm done.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, those are some serious nerd cred.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should be like Wayne's World, like we're not worthy.
Okay. Are you the president of his fan club? This is what
I'm impressed.
No.
I don't know how old he is, but like just purely from an audio standpoint, like he sounds like a Wolverine. Like he sounds like Wolverine.
His voice can definitely.
Yeah. So there's that, but like I don't know how young you go with Wolverine. Like I don't think you go like I don't know how old Zac Efron is. He looks 12 still, but
yeah. Well, that was who I saw. They might try to peg for it.
There's no way. Yeah. I hope not.
I hope not.
You need somebody who, I don't know, like
can grow a beard.
Yeah, he's so baby face. Like he
Yeah,
doesn't
you
seem
need-
like he would fit the personality.
Of course, now he's also playing Ted Bundy. Zac Efron is in this
Yeah.
series, and apparently people said it is frightening
How good he
into
is.
how good he is and how like he kind of disappears into the role.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that's why he dyed his hair. Was he had to have a change to get away from Ted Bundy after he died.
Yeah, because he's blonde now, right?
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
platinum blonde or something.
Well, but did you? I mean, speaking of like getting away from a role like that, I mean, the Michael B. Jordan, he had to go to therapy because of his role in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like he was so wrapped up in it,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, that happens to people.
There's on the Nerdist podcast when Hardwick is talking to actors stuff like that, he always asks them about taking stuff home, like and some people are really, really good about that. And he said, and some people can just leave it, and some people they're like, yeah, it's hard to whatever. Brittany Cole Evans says someone said Robert Pattinson as Wolverine. We're gonna talk about our Pat here in a little
that
bit.
makes me mad just thinking about it.
Yes, sparkly Wolverine. So
I feel bad for him because I know he has moved on and he's older and he probably is a good actor. I'm just gonna assume I haven't seen anything, but I don't think he'll ever escape Twilight
I don't either.
Probably
for
not.
our generation.
Because if you think about it, like
not.
everything, at least that I'm somewhat aware of, stuff that he's done has been smaller independent films, and like he's like been very well reviewed and that kind of stuff. But our generation's like, you're the sparkly dude, like that's.
Yeah. He did like what Water for Elephants, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
And I think they said he did really good in it, but I'm still just
Yeah.
like, you're a terrible vampire.
So I don't know. Like I said, so I don't know who you pull in for. Well, maybe you find a no name for Wolverine and somebody who there are no expectations and something like that. Let's jump over to DC for just a minute because Brittany mentioned our Pats here. There has been and I wish I had this up, and I'm sorry that I don't, but our buddy, who we say our buddy, Boss Logic has done an image of Robert Pattinson and tying him to Batman because
He was thrown in.
Ben Affleck confirmed he is out 100%. He is not coming back, even though we knew this was the case. Basically, let me find the quote from Mr. Affleck real quick. He was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he said, I don't want to misquote him here, asked him if he was done with Batman. He said, yeah, I am. I've decided. I tried to direct a version of it, worked with a really good screenwriter, and couldn't come up with a version. I couldn't crack it, so I thought it was time to let someone else take a shot at it, and they've got some really good people. So he has done, amazingly enough, is a lot of the next Batman is 2021, but a lot of the Twitter reaction was like, best Bruce Wayne, best on-screen Batman. Like, all the hate, most of it seemed to go away, and a lot of people saying, like, man, I really wish Justice League wasn't your last Batman. Like
I thought he was a good Bruce Wayne. For some reason, I just didn't. I don't know. I thought he looked weird in the Batman suit.
That is a different suit because it
Yeah.
is the bulkier, squarer suit,
Like
and
it-
so
That part I couldn't get behind, but I mean it's better than George Clooney's suit, and I did like him. I think if he had another shot, he would probably be good. But I understand wanting to recast for maybe a younger person.
yeah, and all the talk had been about it would be a Batman Year One type story, but Matt Reeves has said we're not doing any actual like canon story. Like there's going to be some influence and stuff. Megan, give with the like for the video. Thank you, Meg. That there's going to be a wholly original story, but we'll focus more on Batman the detective versus gadgets
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So apparently Meg knows you.
She's my cousin.
Hello, cousin. So you look at someone like Robert Pattinson, like he's got the Bruce Wayne look in that picture
For sure.
And this is on. And if you ever want to check out our sources, everything that we're pulling for our podcast is at gatherthenerds.com, so you can grab the links of everything we're seeing at whenever we post the show. And he's got that look, but it's the Batman aspect of it is the hard part.
I mean, other than the glitter,
Yeah.
that image sells me on him as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he's got the Bruce
Boss
Wayne
Logic,
look.
I mean, has knocked it out of the park for sure. And, who's to say he wouldn't be a good younger version of Batman?
That's true. It depends on the
mean,
story, really. Like, because if you have the younger, naive Batman who isn't quite as bitter and grizzled and whatever, which, but I don't know.
So, like, when he's 5?
Exactly. There's certainly and they're trying to do it in Gotham. They're trying to do, like, kind of the downward spiral of Bruce Wayne, sort of, in terms of him getting there, but it's, I don't know. It's
He looks too baby-faced.
Yeah.
I like the person that plays young Bruce in that, but
Yeah.
I can't take it seriously when he's trying to get too dark.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know. So that's the question now. Who do you pull in as Batman other than Matt Damon?
I mean, I guess it really depends on what story you want to tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is going to be the jumping off point of which Batman you would need.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at a younger version, I mean, this image sells that character.
Yeah.
Sells that actor. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right choice, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who would be a good one?
I still like Matt Balmer.
Matt Balmer's good. What's his face from Game of Thrones? He was in the Bodyguard Netflix or Hulu series. Richard Madden has been.
Okay, I haven't even finished watching all that yet.
He's been mentioned. Older, John Hamm has been in the discussion for.
John Hamm, older.
And he could do that if you look at like his character in Baby Driver and stuff like that. He can play a darker, more grizzled stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, there's just, and then when do you meet said Batman? And more important, almost as importantly, who's Alfred?
Right.
Like anymore, I mean,
It's the most
casting,
important
yeah,
thing.
casting Batman's important, but Alfred is a very,
Right.
very
Yep.
close second.
They have to
Right.
be able to play off of each other.
And you've pulled, the best. You've pulled the best Alfreds you've got already. I mean, you had Jeremy Irons, you had, Michael Caine. Like, who's Alfred at this point? Like, that's
What if they convinced Anthony Daniels to be Alfred?
he's.
Because the voice would be the killer.
Yeah.
Because his voice is C-3PO's voice. I
voice.
mean, he's not
Yeah.
changing that. But it would just be interesting
Yeah.
to see him in that.
Of course, I blanked on his name. Who plays Alfred in the TV series? Like, he wants.
He would be a
Weird.
good one.
He wants to stay. They're doing that Alfred TV show over on Epix.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing an Alfred origin over on Epix, and
With
he
him,
wants.
right?
No,
No.
somebody
It's
else.
a younger.
A younger
Oh, okay.
version. But he wants to be involved, and that's the thing. Like, I think you could eat. Like, I know they don't cross the TV in whatever universe, but he's a great Alfred.
He totally could cross.
Sean
over.
Pertwee, that's who it is.
Sean Pertwee.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he would be a good choice for sure.
yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough to decide. 2021 is
Okay.
when the Matt Reeves Batman movie comes out.
Also circling back, Tom Hardy as Wolverine.
Oh,
That's a good pull.
I think everybody. I think everybody would be on board with Tom Hardy as Wolverine.
Who's? I can't
That's a
think of the
great.
guy.
Oh, that's a great one. That is.
What's the guy's name that played opposite of Tom Hardy in The Warrior?
That is Joel Edgerton.
Okay, and he's the orc that's in Bright.
Yes.
Yeah, he could be another. I mean, he's another kind of broody type of an actor. I mean,
He's
it could
tall.
work. Is he?
He's comparatively
To Tom
to
Hardy?
Hardy.
Really?
Tom Hardy's short.
Tom Hardy's
Because I mean, they
shorter
made
than
him
I
look. I
think.
guess maybe it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
how it looked, but
But I mean, I don't know. Since he's in Venom, they probably won't let him. But he would be good. He would be my pick.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be great. He would be a great Wolverine.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel Edgerton. I mean, that's yeah. It depends on how much they stick to that, because like Hugh Jackman's not like Wolverine is always described, even like in the podcast thing, is basically he's a square.
Yeah. He's yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, yeah. I mean, I just watched Warrior a couple weeks ago. Actually, it's you pulled that. But I mean,
You could look at
you got Bernthal.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
It'd be tough because he's Punisher, but
yeah, but he could pull off the grisly side of Batman if that's what you wanted.
yeah, I was going or Wolverine, really. Yeah. I mean,
Wolverine. Sorry, we switched. Yeah,
either. Yeah, we keep bouncing.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one too.
Yeah.
Let's see who else, because there was somebody else that was in my mind that could play. There's the guy that was the Terminator in the newest one, the Salvation with
Sam Worthington.
Yeah,
he's going to be filming Avatar for the next 20 years.
Oh, what about?
Well, that's true.
What's his name for Batman? Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh, Scott Eastwood. He was in.
Hair.
And then Clint Eastwood could be Alfred. That's perfect.
Bam.
That is perfect. Get off my lawn, Bruce.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
He was in. Help me here. Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, he was.
Who was he?
He was the base. He was the other guy opposite Rick Flag.
Yeah.
He was kind of a no name.
He was a soldier guy.
Yeah, you could pull him into that universe. I don't think that'd be a problem.
Yeah.
He has that like square jaw for some reason.
Yeah.
That I think Batman should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. Yeah,
That's a good one.
So yeah, we'll see who it's gonna be.
I don't know. I mean,
nobody called Ben Affleck, so there's no telling who.
But I think we've pulled some good names that fit kind of the traditional Wolverine for sure.
So if you're listening, DC and Marvel,
Yeah.
there's your people.
Yeah.
They're not listening.
Could you go?
You never know.
Who? I mean, they wouldn't be able to do it. Who's the guy who plays Preacher on AMC?
Dominic Cooper.
Dominic Cooper.
Was that right?
I have no idea.
Dominic is right.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm saying The Hobbit Dominic.
Oh, that's Moynihan.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Two completely different
Yeah.
people.
So.
I can remember faces. Names escape me constantly. So.
He was in Mamma Mia too. The first. I
Well,
think the second
then
one.
he is definitely a Wolverine.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, the tradition of Wolverine, you have to be on the other side of film. You have to be able to be in a musical and be tough.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the standard. Thank you,
Well,
Hugh Jackman.
Then, whenever you get a Wolverine musical on Broadway, he can just transition right on over.
No Wolverine.
Could you imagine that? They're singing, and all of a sudden claws come out and somebody gets jabbed. Yeah, it's like I want to see a musical version of Sabretooth and Wolverine fighting from the first movie. I want to see that one.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It might be. You might be onto something.
Yep.
You
They
might be
would
onto
do
something.
the snapping fighting, but their claws. I think
The
maybe.
snapping, like from what is that?
Is it Guys and Dolls?
No,
It's
West Side Story.
West Side
Thank you,
Story.
yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
The Jets and the
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
The Sharks.
Yeah.
The Jets and the Sharks.
So something I'm very confused about this.
Okay.
Marvel's announced 4 new animated adult series partnered with Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
You would think they would wait for the Disney streaming service, unless this is another thing into the direction that Hulu is going to be the adult arm of the Disney streaming service.
Well, I
'Cause
think when you look
ABC
at,
owns a big chunk of Hulu, right?
I think they own the majority of it now.
Yeah.
I think when you look at like Howard the Duck, that's a very mature comic.
Oh yeah.
You know, and even the movie that was out when we were kids, I rewatched it maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Even as a
Before
kid.
Harper was born, I watched it, and I like the first 20 minutes of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this was why did my parents let me watch this? This
Right?
is so
How bad can
questionable.
Howard the Duck be?
Yeah. And I don't know much about Tigra and Dazzler, but I mean that could be kind of cool too.
Dazzler's awesome. She's a musician.
Well, I mean, I remember
She's
I
like
remember the character.
Pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had the card. I have the card of her, but I just don't.
So these are the stories, or these are the series that's coming out. Marvel's MODOK is coming out. An egomaniacal supervillain with a really big head and a really tiny body. Struggles to maintain control of his evil organization and his demanding family. Writers Jordan Bloom and Patton Oswalt will executive produce with Jeff Loeb. Marvel's Hit Monkey. I don't know anything about Hit Monkey, but this is something I can get on board with. Marvel's Hit Monkey tells the tale of a wronged Japanese snow monkey mentored by the ghost of an American assassin as he cuts a wide swath through the Tokyo underworld in this darkly cinematic and brutally funny revenge saga. Josh Gordon and Will Speck are writing on that one. Tigra and Dazzlers is a story about two, and I'm quoting here, woke superheroes and best friends Tigra and Dazzler as they fight for recognition among powered people who make up 8 million stories in Los Angeles. Erica Rivanova and Chelsea Handler are on board to write that one, which I find interesting. Marvel's Howard the Duck is trapped in a world he never made, but America's favorite fighting fowl, I love that, hopes to return with the help of his insufferable gal pal Beverly before evil Dr. Bong can turn him into the crispy dish on the menu. Writers Kevin Smith is going to write Howard the Duck.
That is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
That is perfect.
And then, but here's the great thing. So then they're taking all of these people together for Marvel's The Offenders.
That's awesome.
So
basically what they're doing is kind of like a Defenders for Marvel, but obviously Offenders. But then on the flip side, if you think about it, they're kind of taking the DC model from CW.
A little bit.
With hero or legends.
Yeah, you do.
Causing characters to team up.
Did the Offenders have an actual...
I don't know if the Offenders had an actual book. Either way, I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right about it being the adult branch. I think that's probably what it is.
So...
very cool.
Absolutely. So this is a... I don't know that there's not been release dates for these yet. But and then Marvel has... there's the second season of Marvel Runaways right now on Hulu.
I still need to watch that.
So...
It's supposed to be really good.
So that's pretty awesome stuff. In other news in Marvel, which I thought interesting, I didn't really think about this at the time. There's an article posted this week that the British SAS has banned the Punisher skull from all of their helmets and anyone wearing the logo because of its similarity to the Nazi SS Death's Head symbol, which I found interesting. But also what I find is the creator of Punisher, Jerry Conway, has been saying this for years, and nobody's been listening. He says, and he quoted here, "I've talked about this in other interviews. To me, it's disturbing when I see the authority figures embracing Punisher iconography because the Punisher represents a failure of the justice system. He's supposed to indict the collapse of the social moral authority, and the reality some people can't depend on institutions like the military or the police to act in a just and capable way." So he says, he's talking about the vigilante anti-hero is fundamentally a critique of the justice system, an example of social failure. So when cops put Punisher skulls on their cars or members of the military wear Punisher skull patches, they're basically sides with the enemy of the system. They're embracing an outlaw mentality. Whenever you think of the Punisher as justified or not, whether you admire his code of ethics, he is an outlaw, he is a criminal. Police should not be embracing a criminal as their symbol.
So I think I don't disagree by any means, especially after the series, because I think it sends the wrong message. But at the same rate, you have to also look at it from the other perspective, that the series popularized the skull, and the actor popularized the character, and it's completely possible, despite what that show is, that people don't fully comprehend the context with which it was written. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think after the movie American Sniper came out, and that was prominent in that movie, that's when it really took off. But, with the whole, concealed carry side of things, right?
Yeah.
There is just so much out there that markets that skull for different things. I mean, depending on the type of firearm you own, you can put that skull on things, and it's just, I don't know. I'm glad to see that they're taking a stand against sending the wrong message, because the SAS is no joke. I mean, they're the elite, you know. So, like that one SAS operator that was in, where was that, Dubai, or wherever that hotel siege took place recently. That one guy saved, all those people and, basically took over operations. He was shopping with his family, and next thing you know, he's all kitted up. He's in jeans and tennis shoes, and he's got, he's going in, and I think when you look at it from a perception standpoint, I think it sends the wrong message. So I can absolutely get behind that.
So we'll see if other military and organizations like that will follow suit in that. So,
but I get it. Punisher's cool.
Punisher's cool.
Character's cool, but I just
Yeah.
Visually, it sends the wrong message.
All right, let's roll into some science.
Hey, before we do that,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you? I didn't have time to throw this in the agenda because I saw it and then I had to keep moving. Did you see where the guy bought the ultra rare Babe Ruth card for $2, and it's worth like millions of dollars?
I did not.
Okay, so I'll basically try to read it as good as Cav. I'm just not as eloquent. But a collector scored big when he nabbed an ultra rare Babe Ruth baseball card for next to nothing. The gentleman was visiting a card shop in Nevada when he found it. He says the owner thought the card was fake and sold it for just $2. So the owner now sent it to the authentication group and has confirmed that it is a rare 1921 card, possibly worth millions. He's already received 3 multi-million-dollar offers, but has refused to sell. He says that if he does decide to cash it in, the collector who sold it will get a cut. So, yeah. I mean, because I think of like, this could have been Broken Arrow's, your card. This could have been SNS. And very easily could have, it looks like a fake card.
Yeah.
The craziest thing to me is, for the most part, at least in the image, it looks perfect.
It looks pretty good.
Somebody really took care of it.
Yeah.
For it to be a fake. I don't know. Just interesting.
Is he holding out for more than $3 million?
I think for him, and maybe Cav can speak to this, but I know for me, it'd be like, I own something that is so special that at any point in the future I can sell it if I need it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not going to be more of these.
Yeah, but $3 million, like, you're set.
Yeah.
True.
Cards like...
I don't know. I'm not into baseball.
I'm not into baseball cards either, but I don't know. I just look at it like...
It's true.
Cards
it's always going to be worth something.
Yeah. Cards like that, yeah, there is no... yeah, Jeremy says SNS. That's right. Like, Tattoo would never let that pass as a $2 card. But the...
I would hope not.
Yeah, so there is always a market for this. Like you said, there's always a market for this, and the market for this is really not going to depreciate, because the people who can afford to pay you $1 million or something for it now, 5 years from now, will still be able to pay you millions of dollars for it.
Yep.
There is certainly a many of diminishing returns at some point, but if somebody says, "Here's this card, and I'm going to give you $5 million for it," yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I mean, there is certainly, like, the collector in me says own something that only a few people in the world own.
Which is that situation.
But also, you now have a multi-million-dollar card, which means you have to secure it, you have to insure it, you have to do all of these things. This card just became a financial burden for this guy.
Right.
And so at some point, you have to move stuff, because otherwise that. But also, on the flip side of that, if let's say he buys it for $2 and he sells it for $5 million, now he's got capital gains taxes to think about.
Yeah.
And so...
And his income level might not be able to help with that. Yeah.
There is a... Here's the thing. There's a number that this guy has in mind, and nobody's said it yet. That's probably what
fair.
that is.
And that's fair. I mean...
But yeah, like, you always... It's like going to a flea market or going to a con and stumbling across a double telescoping lightsaber, Luke Skywalker, but the double telescoping lightsaber for $5. Yeah. Like, it's like, in your life you hope to hit that like one time, and so, yeah. I mean, this is just it does. It looks like a fake.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
And the fact that it's so old and it looks as good as it does.
Yeah.
That's the other side of it.
Somebody was talking about, I was reading a story about somebody was tearing down a house, and they were like basically tearing down to redo a house, basically taking it down to the studs.
Yeah.
And when they took down all the drywall and plaster and stuff like that, they had used old comic books as insulation in the walls. And pulled like an Action Comics 5 or something crazy. And the thing is,
it's probably perfect because it's not had any moisture on it.
It's because of just how it was. It's just in good condition. Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna go start tearing down old houses.
Yeah, right.
So
that's pretty cool.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, and here's the thing: if I'm this guy with this card, I'm just like, I have these multi-million-dollar offers. I'm not gonna sell it. Jeremy says the pressure of keeping the card would be too much for me. I couldn't handle the stress of it sitting in my safe. It would be sold yesterday. Mm-hmm. If this guy's saying, I have several multi-million-dollar offers for it, and I'm saying no, he might be driving that price up on purpose.
Well, sure.
I mean, it's smart. It's smart things. He says whoever sold it's going to get a cut. How much?
What difference does it make? If I sell something for $4 million
Yeah.
and I give someone $1,000,
Yeah.
that's not hurting me much.
The thing is, if I'm the guy who sold this to the card shop, I wouldn't want to know. I would be sick if I sold that to the card shop for $5 or
It's
something like
completely
that.
possible, though, that it was somebody's son. They had passed
Oh, yeah.
and sold it.
And just sold it in a lot
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
It's
It's completely possible.
I wouldn't want to know. I would be
Because
sick.
I will tell you right now, that happens more often than not with comic books. Because because people know that I like books.
Yeah.
They will go, I have a whole bunch. Do you want to look through them?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I guess. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And it never pans out where they actually let me just dig through it because I'm like, I don't know. But
Yeah. Ben from SNS, he says, off topic, but did I miss the cat break? Yes, Ben, you did. But tell you what, I will break one. I still have some sealed packs, Ben, so I will break
Want the
a pack.
gum?
I will break. I have a sealed pack here that I will break for you. So the
this one's pretty legit that I'm holding up.
that
just
is
saying.
yeah, we may not need to. So there is enough. I just don't know. Like that's the thing. Like I mean, if it's me, I look like that right there. If I
This is gonna
find
be
out.
Harper at her next birthday party.
Yeah.
Right
Oh
here.
yeah, that's the football helmets are still there.
She wants to have a DJ party.
Sweet.
So we're gonna
yeah,
we're
there we go.
wicka, wicka.
There's the cat on the slot machine.
There you go.
Gambling.
Gambling cat.
Kitty needs some new shoes.
Yep. Here's a cat with a
He
rifle.
wants some more catnip.
Oh, there you go.
Because, cats and guns.
Seems safe.
Yep, seems safe. Here's a cat playing pool. There you go. There you go, Ben, just for you.
Gum is still
See, you can
free.
you can send off for the poster. I'm seriously considering filling this out and mailing it in. Just
Do you
to see
think
what
that they would
happens.
still have that?
Probably not, but it would be worth it. It'd be worth it just to try. But yeah, to that point, I don't know that I want to know.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, well, and then on top of that, I can see the other side of wanting to sell it from the financial stress of it all.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Speaking of baseball and ignorance, if you have $5,000, you can go hunting Bigfoot and aliens with Jose Canseco.
What?
That's where church is right
Church
now.
is.
Yeah.
Go church.
So Jose
Good luck.
Canseco on February 12th, he tweeted, "Go on a Bigfoot and alien excursion with Jose Canseco. Contact Morgan Management at this phone number." He also tweeted, "Come spend the day with me and my alien buddies. I'll show you a Bigfoot and a real alien." So,
It's the real alien him.
yep. And so the Huffington Post actually called the number, and this is the message. It says, "Spend the weekend with Jose for $5,000 cash," because that's not a red flag. "Only 5 lucky individuals will get a golden ticket. Oompa Loompas ain't got nothing on Bigfoot. Travel in his custom RV to authentic alien sightings and proven Bigfoot habitats. Camp out in the wild, tell stories, and maybe meet a real Bigfoot. You never know what's going to happen with Mr. Canseco. Food included. Only serious inquiries, please. I'll help you book your flights to Vegas and set itineraries."
Jose gonna kill you.
Yep.
I'm just saying, is that $5,000 cash when I get there?
Yeah.
After I find Bigfoot? After I see an alien?
Yep. The
Or is it
response
ahead?
says the first excursion is almost full.
That's
So
ridiculous, man.
this is a follow-up to a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the fact that the tweets claiming aliens had given him to see the secrets of time travel. Some of the tweets in response to this were, "People used to make fun of me because my favorite player took steroids and took a homer off his dome, but look at me now. My favorite Bash Bro hangs with aliens." This other one says, "Will they be different aliens this time? I don't want to spend time with the same aliens." He's like, "Jose, man, when they told you to diversify your interest in retirement, this is not what they meant." And of course, then somebody posts the Futurama meme, which is "Shut up and take my money." So, yeah. Good old Jose Canseco.
I wonder what is going on with his mental state, truthfully.
Who
Not
knows?
well.
Yeah, well, and I just mean, I wonder why. What?
Drugs.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, is it prescription drugs? Is it off the street drugs? Is it?
Maybe both.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. There's just
Ben says after seeing Jose on the Surreal Life, this doesn't seem too far off.
that's fair.
In actual science news, the Mars Opportunity rover, exploration? No, Opportunity. I get them mixed up. The Opportunity Mars Exploration rover ended its mission after more than 5,000 Martian days.
Which is how long in human?
Well, here's the deal.
Human days. How
Human
long is that in
days.
human? How long is that in Earth time? Is what I meant.
It was only supposed to work for 90 days, and it worked for 15 years.
Is this the one that sings itself happy birthday every year?
I think they all do.
That seems so sad to me.
So, the project manager for it said this is a hard day. Even though it's a machine, we're saying goodbye. It's still very hard. Its cousin Spirit both landed. So Opportunity and Spirit landed on Mars in January of 2004. They're supposed to carry on for just 3 months. 3 months, just basically looking over less than a mile of the Martian landscape. Spirit wandered off for 5 miles and lasted 6 years. So, who knows what that was all about. Opportunity rolled for 28 miles on Mars, stayed on the job for more than 14 years, transmitting 217,594 images, including a selfie.
What's crazy to me though is like in this article, knowing that. I mean, I guess they have some of the pictures from the rover, but the cover image for the article is an artist rendition. Like we couldn't even get just an actual picture. Like
Right,
it's
'cause he took a
somebody drew it.
selfie.
It did take a selfie.
Yes, I remember this.
So there is a lot there. So what some people are theorizing, and even Will Wheaton tweeted about this, he's just like, here, because the running theory is that there was a huge Martian sandstorm, like massive, and that all of its solar cells got covered, and so the batteries died ultimately, and that was it. And so people are theorizing now that at some point, when we get to Mars, you could literally dust it off and start it back up again, which would be cool. Don't know that we'll see that in our lifetime. Depends what Elon Musk is up to. So the Rev has joined. Hello, Reverend. So farewell, Opportunity. You worked way longer than you were contracted to. The government thanks you.
It's pretty cool.
It saw an opportunity and it took it.
Wow.
That's next level pun right there.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder though, like
I think Opportunity is going to be our title, but yeah,
There you
that's
go.
pretty good.
I kind of wonder though, like how does that not count as just contaminating a planet? You know what I mean? Like I don't know, it's
We're
weird.
just leaving our.
Yeah, just
We don't
leaving,
want to
our
call it
space junk.
but
but just leaving our stuff.
leaving
You know,
it there.
like I don't know.
This could be. You
interesting.
have to think about it. This could be the beginning of the Autobots. Like
True.
You never
True.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is the whole. I think that the NASA orders about not contaminating have to do with life, have to do
that's
with
fair.
organisms.
Yeah, that's
Since
fair.
it's just a machine,
Yeah.
unless it's going to use the technology there against us, I think we're okay.
What about the batteries though? I mean, those could potentially leak.
Degrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what the batteries are made of.
I don't know. I want to say something was nuclear, but I can't remember.
well, that's probably not good.
Yeah, I can't remember.
We're gonna get to Mars and it's gonna be Red Planet.
Yeah.
It's gonna already be polluted.
Yep.
Yep.
Our job is done here.
Yep.
Exactly. And
I
then we're
don't-
gonna find Spirit, and Spirit's gonna be all like weirded out, and it's still wandering around.
Not
I
only have we
always-
polluted this planet, but we have successfully polluted another. Fantastic.
I also
I doubt it.
I always think about the red versus blue when they're on and the rover and like they're using it as a skateboard. Like there's a great PSA for that, and because it shows the Opportunity rover just going like over a ramp, and like it's amazing. It's like wee.
I mean, it's a very cool thing, and I'm excited to see who gets to Mars. But I know I'm not gonna go, like unless I have to,
We've had this discussion, but
Yeah.
you weren't here.
because it's
You
like
weren't with us
it's
at
a
the time.
2-year trip one way.
You weren't with us this time. If you had the opportunity to go and try and colonize Mars, which means you were leaving Earth for good, one-way trip, do you take it?
No,
Okay.
I have seen The Martian. I will not survive on Mars. I'm gonna stay here.
I've seen
And-
Red Planet too. I'm out.
And then when all of those people are gone, I'm gonna have their stuff.
That's true.
Well, and you have to
Well,
also
free up
think.
resources, you know.
I was gonna say you also have to think like if, let's say we land on Mars and we successfully start colonizing it to where people can go there. Like the average person can buy a ticket to go there, right? To live. If we get to that point, in theory, wouldn't this planet start doing better in terms of
That's what I'm
pollution
saying,
and
because we'd have
resources
less
and
people.
yeah.
So
Interesting.
I'm like,
But then we'll have like the bullet train version of space travel. It'd take like 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Opportunity to use 2 lithium-ion batteries.
So they shouldn't leak.
They shouldn't leak, in theory.
And they should recharge if the solar panels ever get.
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, because they don't have the lithium doesn't have the history that a lot of other ones do. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Well, there you go.
Staying on the government track, so the head of the FCC, Ajit Pai, one of our
Least favorite people.
nemesis of this podcast, he doesn't realize it, but he is. The guy who decided to kill net neutrality, is taking a tact for something that I can get on board with. He has basically told the large telephone companies that you better get on board with caller ID authentication to stop these spam calls, or there are going to be significant consequences.
I can get on board with that.
So there is a system called Shaken and Stir. Somebody is obviously a James Bond fan. It basically said, in a statement yesterday, he said, I applaud those companies that have committed to deploy Shaken and Stir framework in 2019. This goal should be achievable for every major wireless provider, interconnected voice over IP operator, and telephone company, and I expect those lagging behind to make every effort to catch up. If it appears major carriers won't meet the deadline to get it done this year, the FCC will have to consider regulatory intervention. So the biggest problem now is caller ID spoofing. Like you get a phone call from someone that looks like a real number or something like that. But there is a digital certificate handshake that can happen, just like when you go to a website, then it's secure and stuff like that. Basically the same thing can be there for caller ID. And that will give us the ability to drastically reduce the number of spam and spoofed calls.
I think that's good. I mean, because it's a real pain.
Yeah.
AT&T has taken a step towards they have Call Protect.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
It's
I mean, some still get
50%,
through, but it's
maybe.
better.
It's better than nothing.
Verizon has something like that.
Yeah.
You had to pay for it at first, but now it's free.
Yeah, this is free on AT&T's network.
Yeah, this one's free now. Probably because of all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how many times I get a phone call, and I don't recognize the number, but it's a local number.
Yeah.
And if there's something like, so my daughter just got new glasses yesterday, and so I thought it was the person from the eye doctor calling me, which didn't make a lot of sense, but either way.
Right.
So I answered, hi, we are calling about your
car warranty.
Expired warranty. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
my car's like a 2012. I don't have a warranty. Goodbye. And I just hang up. Like, I just hang up.
I
But the
get
fact,
things about disability.
but the fact that you picked up, now they're like, oh, that's a number, and then
Right. But the good news is, at least through Call Protect, you can go back and you can mark it as spam.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I have an app that I can do that with now.
Yeah. So hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have a fewer spam calls. One of the guys at work, he just messes with them.
if it's a person, I've done that.
Oh, and
I've done that.
especially the car warranty. People's like, well, what car do you have? He's like, well, I've got a 2019 Lamborghini Mercy or whatever. Or it's like, how many miles does your car have on? He's like, that's about 270,000. Like, and he'll just keep him on the line as long as he can.
Yeah. Well, and I actually, there was that radio station that whenever they called, they would act like they were calling a crime scene or whatever.
Josh says most of your spoof calls are him.
Yeah. No, I could play a message, Josh, if you really would want me to. You probably don't care. Actually, that threat's probably idle on my end because you could care less. But I will play it for the two in the room once we are done recording.
Nice.
But anyway, when I had some people that actually called me and they wouldn't stop, I answered. I just was like this old crotchety I don't know, horrible accent guy. I don't even know what country I was trying to make, but I started yelling at it. It was hilarious because they were like, "No, you're not listening to me," It was great. It was fantastic. It was the best time I've had.
The app I have, it has bots that will pick up for you, and it'll play messages to make it seem like someone really picked up, and then it records it so you can listen to it later, and sometimes it's pretty funny.
I made the mistake one time the last, maybe a few weeks ago, where I said my first name, and I don't like doing that because I don't know who you're trying to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to, just like this, take my name, and then now all of a sudden you call something else, and now, so... I thought I was answering my office phone, and I answered my cell phone, so that happened.
I think, part of me thinks that the cell phone companies are in on it, because I didn't have as many until I switched networks. And Lynn didn't either until he got onto my plan. And by in on it, I just think they maybe sold data.
Well, they
Numbers
were
and
hacked.
stuff like that. Yeah,
something like that.
There's,
there's
a
that
number of
aspect of it
things.
too. I just don't see the
Jay and
benefit.
Leah,
in it.
hello.
Why? What do they get out of that? If you just hang up, what is the? I mean, I guess some people don't hang up.
Yeah, some
You know what I
people
mean?
are
Some people-
susceptible to those
Yeah.
Sure,
things.
elderly or something. Because I get ones that they're trying to help me get disability.
I
like
get a
Social
Medicare one
Security,
about
yeah, and I'm
once or
like,
twice a week.
See, I don't.
That's not
I only
me.
get the warranty.
I'm going to tell them to call you then.
That's fine. That's
Um,
fine. Talk to them about my bunions.
This is just exciting news just because I love this show. Psych the Movie 2 is officially green-lit, and they are headed back to Santa Barbara. James Roday, Dule Hill, Timothy Odmanson, Maggie Lawson, Kirsten Nelson, Corbin Burnson are all going to be back.
I love them so much.
So, yeah, that if you've never watched Psyched, it's one of the greatest TV shows ever made.
We keep forever. We have tried to get church to watch this show, and they don't for whatever reason. I think they're just busy with everything else.
I think they're
Sean
losers.
Not church. I feel like if you
Less sinister.
yes, but like I'm like
Yeah.
if anyone is gonna pretend to be a psychic detective out
Like-
of our group,
It would be church. That's a valid. That is a valid point.
and he would somehow make
Yeah.
it work.
That's true. There's the
Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum podcast that he has. James Roday and Dule Hill came on together, and so that was pretty. That was pretty cool. It was supposed to film last summer, but Dule Hill is on. He's on Suits right now. James Roday has another show, Million Little Things, and so but they're finding a way to get it done. So that's going to be awesome. I'm excited. For
I can
that.
totally see church though
Right.
trying to be that person,
Yeah.
and being it unsuccessfully, on purpose.
With his new show, since it was on a different network, I was worried that it was going to be the end
Yeah.
for Psych, so I was really glad to see that.
Well, at least with ABC and USA, I think there's some commonality there. I think
Maybe they're owned by a parent company.
it might be. I can't remember.
Did they release the first one in the theater?
No,
Or
it's
it was just
TV.
like straight to.
Yeah.
Oh, it was on TV.
Yeah.
Or-
But you can go to what we did is we were able to go to their app and watch it even though we don't have cable.
That's cool. Yeah,
Just
I've
that.
never seen the show, but I mean I know of it.
Yeah.
I've just never seen
Oh,
it.
it's a great show.
'Cause I haven't had cable, and network TV at this point scares me just because of the commercials.
For
I
a
don't want my
while,
kids
it
seeing
was on
stuff and asking
Prime for
questions.
free. I don't know if it still is now or not.
I'll look.
I think it's on Netflix. I think Psych's on
I'll look.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up with some gaming news. An original first-run copy of Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo
In the
for
box,
NES,
no less.
sealed, still, graded 9.4, sold for $100,150.
I wonder how
becoming
much
the
my
high-
cartridge would sell for.
$5. So it's
Is that because it had the Duck Hunter on it?
well it's just common like Mario
Oh.
Brothers by itself, and then it also still sealed and in that good of a condition.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
But what people are trying to figure out is another game, basically the previous most expensive retro game was sold for $30,000. So somebody really wanted this game. Granted, it is the highest rated version of that, and it is a something like that. But man, I don't know.
What my question is, why would you have that?
Nostalgia, maybe?
I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you would you have purchased two? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, would you have had one to play and one to keep?
Maybe he found one at a different time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this was part of a test market run. So this isn't like the.
So it's a little
generic
bit
one.
more specific.
It's
then.
very
Okay.
very rare.
Well, that
yeah.
makes sense then.
So
I can understand why if it was a test run,
Maybe.
yeah.
and you kind of knew the Nintendo was coming. If you were a salesperson or whatever, you might keep that.
So
I can
Ars
see that.
Technica has an article that goes into a little deeper. They talked to the person and basically they said this is the basically gaming's Action Comics #1. And there's a belief that that game basically could eclipse $1 million in the near future just
That's
because
crazy.
of what it is and the rarity of it. Another game that goes back that far is Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some Tetris.
I do too.
But now Tetris, there's a new Tetris Battle Royale, Tetris 99. I guess 99 people go in and only one come out.
99 problems.
I got 99 problems and a Tetris is one. I had no idea up until like 2 weeks ago that the 4-line block things literally is called a Tetris.
I didn't either. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, that's how I learned it with that. I didn't even know, for one,
Right.
I didn't even know people competed for
Right,
world
you
champion
needed to-
Tetris player.
We saw it on, we were looking for something else and we saw it on Twitch and then we were like, well, now we have to watch this.
It's totally rad. It's totally rad. So as a result of that, I downloaded Tetris yesterday when I was driving. Well, I was at a conference yesterday and I saw it and downloaded it. And then on the way home, I was playing it because I wasn't driving.
I was going to say, let's clarify.
Yeah.
Were you driving
No,
and
I was
playing
in the
Tetris?
very back of the Suburban, not driving.
Were you
so-
going...
No, I should. I wish I should have turned on the music. But if you're interested and you want Tetris in your life, there is a free version and there is a paid version.
And
Just saying.
on,
And it's actual Tetris.
yeah, I was going to say on Steam, not either Steam or Good Old Games, but I think it's Steam. They have Puyo Puyo Tetris, which you can also get on the Switch too. But I don't understand the Puyo Puyo part of it.
Chicken.
It's Puyo.
Oh,
I
not,
know.
not
I'm assuming
Puyo.
you say not Pollo.
Gotcha.
And it looks like Tetris, but with little circles
Oh, okay.
or something.
It's a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can compete like Tetris versus and
I just need to hook up
lost
my Nintendo and play Tetris.
Yeah.
And then I need to get with Lynn and have him help me finish the Raspberry Pi thing so I can have Tetris there too.
Yeah.
Tetris was the game.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember my mom playing Tetris on my Nintendo.
It was the first game that I played that was infuriating, but I had to keep playing it. I couldn't rage quit on it. I just had to keep going.
Yeah.
There's a time I would play so much Tetris on my Game Boy that when I wasn't playing Tetris on my Game Boy, even in my head, like you still see Tetris
yeah.
and you're still solving that puzzle.
Yeah.
I'm convinced because Tetris it was developed in Russia. I'm convinced Tetris is some sort of like Russian invasion plan. That once Tetris fell out, once Tetris fell out of favor, that like the plan fell apart. But at the time, like you're focused solely on and solving these puzzles. It's like they're training people to become like message decoders or something like that.
What you were saying, yeah. So like when people stopped playing it because Super Nintendo came out,
Yeah,
Red Dawn failed. Got it.
exactly. Thank you, Nintendo.
Lynn ever showed you guys there's like this video on YouTube. It's like the history of Russia, but it's to the song, the Tetris theme song.
Is it really?
And he has he's made up words to it. It's like, I am the man who arranges the blocks. And then it like goes into the
Because
whole...
that's not creepy. It
It's
puts the lotion on the
It
skin.
is hilarious, though. I'll send it
Yeah,
to you.
there's a lot of cool stuff on YouTube lately. Like if you're into, and I don't know the name of the channel, I haven't been able to find it, but I heard about it on a podcast, and unfortunately I was driving, so I couldn't write it down. But there's a video, there's a channel out there that they do all kind of like old school machines. It's like printing presses.
Yeah.
Like gigantic stuff. It's just super cool how they break all that stuff down. Kind of not really on topic, but generally cool.
So you can get Tetris 99 on the Nintendo Switch.
I don't understand how the tournament part works. Like, he was trying to explain it to me, and it's like, you have your portion, and then in the background, like, all across the screen,
That's everybody
is
else.
everyone else, and I'm like, that would be overwhelming to me.
That's a lot of blocks.
Yeah.
So to follow up on an earlier article, so the the U.S. Copyright Office has dismissed the Carlton Dance claim for copyright.
Crazy, right?
Yep, which certainly strikes a blow to Alfonso Ribeiro because he filed copyright claims against Fortnite, Epic Games, and Take-Two for using the Carlton Dance. Basically, they said, according to Copyright Office,
Thanks, Sam.
only more complex choreographic works can be copyrighted, but simple dance routines, I don't know that the Carlton Dance is simple, and movements are classified as building blocks of free expression and protected by the First Amendment, so they cannot be claimed by an individual. So yeah, that is what has happened. So I expect other things like the floss stands and stuff like that to have similar things. Anthem is in pre-release right now for people, and then will launch officially next week. There's been a lot of discussion about how the game is going to sustain itself, considering that the all the DLC for Anthem is supposed to be free going forward. Well, they just BioWare has detailed how the game's microtransactions are going to work using the in-game premium currency called shards. But the one thing that EA and everybody is like yelling as loud as they possibly can is that shards can only be used to purchase cosmetic items, nothing that empowers your javelin, so your people, whatever. So basically, you can make it look like a Hulkbuster, but it won't. It doesn't help you at all.
So isn't that what they got in trouble for before?
No, because they had some of the microtransaction stuff were basically
empowerment.
Empowerment. You could basically pay to win, basically.
Okay. So now they're kind of taking the Fortnite model, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Aesthetic.
Just aesthetic stuff. So in no loot boxes, you go to a vendor in the game to buy these things, and so yeah. So
it's very, very interesting that a Fortnite game that was free is now influencing a game that is not.
Yeah,
I think Fortnite is done that for a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Fortnite right now. There's a new game from the creators of Titanfall called Apex Legends that came out, a new battle royale, also free. The same basic thing that has put a dent in Fortnite significantly. A bunch of people have left Fortnite to go play Apex Legends. Now, whether they come back to Fortnite is a whole other thing, but it dropped and became very popular very quickly.
Is Fortnite the one that had the marshmallow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right after that, there was a comedian, I want to say his name is Steven Hofstetter.
Yes. Yeah.
Who did like this VR set where you pay like $5 and then he had like his avatar and you could just log in and you could listen to him and he would act, through that, and like I think some other people were on it, but it was right after Fortnite, so I was like, I wonder if this is going to be a thing now.
Oh, where you could interact.
You can just have your avatar and interact with them and stuff.
Well, when you think about it in terms of reach, I mean...
Yeah, the new concert
you didn't
right
have
there.
To go anywhere. You could just log in from wherever.
Yeah. What'll be interesting is if those... I mean, I'm sure Marshmallow got some money from it, but it'll be interesting if that starts being a thing in terms of how artists perform.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't get tickets to my show in Tulsa, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, then, hey, guess what? Get on Fortnite. We'll be on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a free concert for the fan, but it's not, like, it's a paid event for the musician.
Right.
Yeah, it won't stay. For something like, as big as that Marshmallow thing, how big as that thing was, somebody is going to monetize it like you're talking about.
As they should.
And it's going to be, but think about it, it's like, oh, I can put on a VR headset and go interact and watch or whatever, something, and it's going to cost me $5. Well, as opposed to paying, $200 a ticket for a concert,
right,
and you can seat 20,000 people, or you can spend $5 for a ticket and you can seat as many people as the internet can handle, and there might be 200,000 people watching your show. You're going to make a lot more money that way.
I mean, I'm really starting to think we are getting to a point. I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and I don't listen to all of them, just some, like Mike Tyson was on there and a couple other people I wanted to listen to, so I listened to those specific shows. But one of the things that they got into a conversation about, and I realized that they were under the influence during this conversation, so that influences how their thinking works. But one of the thoughts is we've made jokes about being in the Matrix here, but I'm really thinking we're kind of getting to the point where we're going to be in a Ready Player One type society.
I always think of The Net, that like really old Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a pull.
I don't know why, but that movie has
Pretoria.
stuck with me forever. And then when Amazon started happening, like you could start getting things delivered to your house, I was like, it's happening.
Yeah. Well, the irony of it all is I think all of those movies, all those science fiction movies that we know and that we joke about, like Terminator and The Matrix and The Net and all that stuff, we are seeing that in a lot of ways.
Yep.
What if it was a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because like we saw it on there, and that's what gave us the idea.
Subconsciously, you start making
that needs to be real.
Pirate Captain Josh wants to point out the Sea of Thieves has had a few times in the last month where more Twitch viewers than Fortnite. So, Sea of Thieves is also.
I'm still not playing the game. Sorry.
I love that. Dude,
Every
it's
time I
so
got on,
good.
everybody was already on a ship, and I had to pilot alone.
Well, now
I
you
have
can do
not
bigger
played
ships. It's awesome. You would be, it'd be awesome. But no, like you said, to the point that like you saw it, and so subconsciously or whatever, we start building towards it. I mean,
Well, I mean,
robot
and I
soldiers,
don't,
AI.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all getting there.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you think about it in terms of inspiration, I mean, people see
right.
things and then they want to try to achieve something better.
I don't think they're trying to do the bad part of that.
But
Some people are.
My concern though is that we've reached a point where human stupidity comes into play. Like they gave a robot a gun.
Like idiocracy.
Like that's yeah, right. And like at some point I'm like, you're teeter-tottering off of common sense. You know what I mean? And there's just some thank you, John. Jerry. There are some things that I'm seeing and I'm like, have you guys seen Idiocracy? Have you seen Terminator?
Right.
Do you know what Skynet is?
Take
like,
this as a warning.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting and scary. Cuz like if we ended up like Chappie, the movie Chappie, where they're used for policing, that could be good, that could be bad, because somebody always has an alternative motive.
Don't forget Johnny 5.
Oh, yeah,
Short
Johnny
circuit.
5, yeah.
Josh is calling you cranky pirate pants.
Well,
So
it happens.
another
Been up
great
since
game.
6:30 because my child doesn't sleep on Saturdays.
Another great game. Also, Crackdown 3 also came out this
Yeah.
week too. So there's a lot of great games come out, and we haven't streamed games in a little while.
Is
so I got to
is
get back to
Crackdown
that.
3 on Game Pass?
It is on
Did
Game
I-
Pass.
Did I see that? Okay.
Yep.
Glenn was watching videos, I think.
Yeah.
And Game Pass is what, $10 a month?
Right now, you can get 2 months for $2.
But how much is it normally?
Normally it's $10 a month, but if you know what Slick Deals is, you can find it for cheaper.
Well, I know what Slick
Oh,
Deals is.
I got a year of Game Pass for $60.
Not bad.
So $5 a month, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. All right, gang. I think this is going to wrap this up for now. Speaking of Game Pass, Apple might also be launching their own gaming system after a while. But not a whole lot of news on that yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they want to get into that.
My thing is, though, I don't know that that's going to help their sales.
I don't think so. That seems
I just have to be honest
hard
with you.
for me to
Like,
picture.
why buy a $1,000 phone to play a game on when you can buy a Nintendo Switch for $300?
Because I can get spam calls on one and not the other.
I wonder if they could tie it in.
So you want to get spam calls? You want to pay $1,000 for spam calls and games?
And games.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if they
But they're
could,
going to save me so much money on my car insurance.
if they could tie
By
it
switching
in,
to State Farm.
maybe with like their Apple TV.
I think that's the...
You
I
can
don't
just
know,
play
man.
it from there, but I don't.
Yeah,
have Apple
they're talking about using AirPlay 2 and stuff like that to make it easier to put those games on your TV. Basically, your phone becomes a mini console, essentially.
Okay, I could see
But
that.
it's still going to be super expensive.
Yeah, because it's Apple.
I just don't. I don't know. With all the other gaming systems out there, I just don't think that that's a smart move. But maybe
I
it
don't
is.
either. All right, gang. As always, speaking of gaming, if you like a good charity, check out Extra Life. Check out extralife.gatherthenerds.com. It's the charity we raise money for every year. You can check that out as well. Also, check out all of our sources, things like that. Gatherthenerds.com is there. This has been episode 115 of Gather the Nerds. We're just going to call it Opportunity.
Opportunity.
Or
I like
opportunity puns. I don't know. Something opportunity related. So this will wrap it up. I'm Cav, that's Nick.
See you guys.
And the Hannah too.
Bye, I'm not evil.
All right, see you guys. Bye-bye. That's the greatest sign-off ever.